Beard. Okay, don't look at this part. What? No, I can't do that. Oh yeah. Face paint. I'm blue. Now, one final touch. I'm the Ice King. This is so stupid. Oh, my light. My light. So, as the Ice King, naturally, I am building an ice team in more of the visions. Since I'm focusing all of my efforts in the game on ice, I was outraged by the audacity Gumi had of releasing a double cost fire unit who was also a tank. So after UR Mont's announcement, I went down a bit of a spiral, and after a while of day drinking and long showers, an angel descended from the heavens to grace me and my ice team with the power of EX Nasha. Now, if you don't know who Nasha is, I'm not surprised. She's an MR, and she's a tank, which means that she's garbage. But since she was an ice unit, it had me intrigued. I have this little ritual that I do each time that a unit I'm interested in is released, where I plug them into the War of the Visions calculator. So I take her, I put her in there with the best possible equipment, even stuff that's not released in GL yet. So I do all that. I'm putting her passives in. I scroll back up to the top to take a little look-see at her stats, and I go, huh, it's a little familiar. I open a new tab, I pull up UR Mont again, and I go, huh, and I open Nasha again, look at that, I look at UR Mont again, I look back. No, I'm no expert on math, but I think ice is better than fire. Now, disclaimer real quick. UR Mont comes out with his own fancy card. He's super vain, so he has to have a card of himself. That card gives him 25 health. Now that effect is only for fire units, so it can't help Nasha at all. So while I put the same equipment on both of these units to compare the stats, I did sort of have a bias towards Nasha, in that I put Fenrir on both of them, which gives 10% health. But in all reality, if you're using UR Mont, you probably have his card, which means in practice UR Mont will probably almost always have more health than EX Nasha. But again, it's just surprising that they're even comparable, and it's not that far off. UR Mont with his card has like 9,900 something health. EX Nasha with Fenrir has like 9,200. But to compare the rest of the stats on Mont, I did swap out Fenrir for his own card. So for the rest of this, he will have more HP than Nasha, sadly. But so first of all, just a quick rundown of what equipment I have on these people. Armor, TMR, Esper is the same on both of them. I have the Brigandine, which is a new raid item that has come to JP recently. For the TMR, I have UR Mont's TMR. Why? I don't know. I just picked what was there. In all reality, you won't have Mont's TMR and Nasha, because if you have Mont's TMR, you're using Mont. But just for the sake of continuity, I have that on both of them. Esper, I have Phoenix, because it gives the most health. It gives 5% health, 15 defense, and 25 strike resistance. But it goes up to level 99, so it has an insane amount of HP on it. Now, quick disclaimer, it takes a lot of Magicite to get an Esper to level 99. You probably won't have such a new Esper at level 99 for quite a while, but again, for continuity, just makes things easier. This is the best of the best equipment on both of these units. So if you bust out your EX Nasha, don't come crying to me if she has 7,000 or 8,000 health. Okay, you are the pleb who doesn't have the right equipment. Don't blame it on me because you don't raid enough. Give your life to Gumi. Now, the only thing that's different between the two of them is their weapon. Of course, I put the fire sword on Mont because he's a fire unit, and I put the Lazalia sword on Nasha because she's an ice unit. But that shouldn't really affect anything other than attack. There's about a 20 attack difference between the two swords, so it shouldn't really affect much. You know, I hope I don't regret putting this costume on. By the way, disclaimer. Again, another disclaimer. All these stats have guild statues at level 5. I figured 5 is the easiest. So starting off with HP, I already talked about that. That was the main bit of the video where you goddamn watching, because I already spoke about this. Try to keep up. Now I'm going to gloss over most of these stats, but talk about the noteworthy ones. For example, attack. Now Mont, with his attack passive, he has right now about 926 attack. Exactly, actually, not about. Nasha EX has 896. Again, I'm surprised. Nasha is MR, even though she's EX. An MR tank at that, having 900 attack is... I'm impressed. Oh, also, again, this is kind of cheating for Nasha because Fenrir does give 50% attack. But, onto the next stat, defense, kind of cheating for Mont, because Mont's card gives him 4 defense. So that puts him at 69 defense. Nice. Nasha at 61 defense. Again, Mont wins out, but by a factor of 8. They're pretty close. Pretty close. Okay, magic doesn't matter. Spirit, they're both at 9. That's nothing. Agility. I don't want to talk about that. Nasha has 66 agility.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
It's terrible. She's really bad. Yeah, as you would expect. So Mont, without any agility equipment on him, has 78 agility. He also has the Shadow Runner passive, so if you wanted, you could give him even more. Next up, on to resistances. I'm going to start with UR Mont. He has a... he has 30 ice resistance.
They ask you how you are, you just have...
Because, of course, Gumi, they hate ice users. We may have a court case against them. Is it a form of racism to hate ice people? Something to think about. Gumi, I've got my eye on you. Okay, Mont has 25 slash resistance. Nasha, unfortunately, only has 15. Pierce resistance. Nasha has 5. UR Mont has 10. Again, UR Mont wins, not by all that much. Strike resistance. This is where Nasha really wins at. Keep in mind I have Phoenix on both of them, so they both have 25 slash resistance from Phoenix. Mont's innate strike resistance is -10. With Phoenix, he gets up to positive 15. Nasha has an innate resistance of 15, so when she puts on Phoenix, she gets up to 40. Missile attack. Nasha has 5, UR Mont has 15. Again, he wins. Of course he does. Magic resistance. Right now, they both have 0. Keep in mind, I have Fenrir on Nasha. She has -20 innate resistance. So when you put Fenrir on her, she gets up to 0, which is kind of devastating for a tank to have -20 magic resistance. But then again, Nasha's EX did get an ability where now her barrier negates 50% of magic damage. So that really helps her with her 0 magic resistance. I think UR Mont has no such thing. But then again, if you put Fenrir on someone else in your party, he gets positive 20. Now, we go to the part that I have been dreading this entire time. Abilities. The abilities these two units have are night and day. Nasha does not compare in the slightest. UR Mont's abilities are insane. Again, keep in mind, I have no idea what I'm talking about. But, so I'm going to start by going down through UR Mont's kit, because literally almost all of them in his main job and sub job are very good. I'm going to start with this one. It increases defense by 15 and restores CT by 400. Basically, if I'm reading this correctly, that's a combination between a buff and quicken. So he buffs himself 15 defense and immediately gets another turn. Whose idea was this? Who came up with this? Gumi, I need to speak to your manager. Again, this might as well just be a passive, because basically, well, I'm not sure that the AI is going to be smart enough to use this ability, but basically it means that you can just buff yourself and then take another turn. Also, he has 2 casts, which means in live PvP, he can get pretty much anywhere on the map, because you can run forward. Also, you can put Shikuchi on him. Okay, people made fun of me last time for not being able to pronounce pugilist. Again, pugilist, not puglust. So I'm going to make sure I know how to pronounce this. You know what? It's not here, and my camera is dying, so I don't care. I'm going to call it Shikuchi. I know it sounds very much like Coochie, but I don't care. You can make fun of me all you want. I have tough skin, and I have a beard. I bet none of you can grow a beard half as luscious as mine. Something to think about. Anyways, back on track. So basically, this means that he can move forward with 4 move and 2 jump. He can cast a spell, and he can move again. He can cast it again, and then he can move again. And then he can still use an ability. He can run wherever he wants and kill whoever he wants. With, again, bringing me to my next ability, Kotetsu. He basically just has Kotetsu, except for better. You know why it's better? Because it's a diamond shape instead of that terrible little cross that Gilgamesh has that they could have easily fixed with his EX, but no, oh no. Gumi hates ice people, so they just give him a better version of Gilgamesh's best ability. It decreases slash resistance by 38% and deals damage in a diamond shape. Again, Gumi, what were you thinking? Nice ability. So he has an ability that can increase all elemental resistances by 15% in an AoE square around himself. Okay, his next buff increases his chance of being targeted by 12 and increase agility by 12% for 3 turns. Okay, now onto his damage abilities. He has one that breaks physical barriers. He has an ability with, it looks like the same range as Jamming's Thrust, except for it has a 25% chance to inflict disable. I love that. I adore this unit. It's so quirky and silly and fun. Okay, now on to sub job. That's all his main job stuff. I'm assuming that everybody is going to be using the Nightblade sub. Increase pierce and missile resistance by 25% for 3 turns in an AoE. That on a tank is just ridiculous. I'm gonna cry. He has a 3-hit ability that absorbs 25% of HP. AoE decrease healing power, because, you know, why not? Why not just make everyone cry? That's basically all the abilities for Mont. Nasha doesn't compare. Not in the slightest. But let's go ahead and take a look through her abilities. I'm going to be mainly focusing on the upgrades and the new abilities she got from her EX. So, as I mentioned before, her Saintly Wall, which previously just negated 50% of physical damage 3 times, now is updated to include magic damage. So it reduces all damage taken by 50% 3 times. Unless you have a barrier breaker. Now her new ability is quite interesting. It increases attack resistance by 25 for 3 turns for herself, nullifies a couple status elements, poison, stop, and immobilize. But mainly I want to focus on the attack resistance, because if you pair this 25% attack resistance with Odin, which gives another 20, and that accessory I was talking about, which gives another 8, that's a total of 53 single attack resistance. I think that this is going to be really fun to play with. And, of course, I forgot to talk about this. Hate. She only has one source of hate generation, which is a real pain, because it is Taunting Blade. Engelbert had the same problem, and it's super annoying to deal with. It's that it costs 44 AP. No unit has 44 starting AP. You need to cast something before you can cast it. So, you need to build up some AP before you can generate hate. And then even then you only have 2 casts, so it's sort of detrimental for guild battles. That's really one of the biggest positives of Mont over her, is that he has not only innate hate on his passive, but the ability that can generate hate that he can use 3 times. So he can basically always stay tanking. So in summation, UR Mont is better than Nasha. What did you expect? But again, let me drive in how much more expensive UR Mont is than EX Nasha. Nasha in GL, I'm on my way to almost maxing her. She came out so long ago, you just get so many of her free shards. I've never bought a single shard, and she's almost maxed. UR Mont is double cost EX, meaning that each of his shards costs 100 Visior, and you need 1,000 of them total to get him to level 120. So shards alone will cost 100,000 Viz, which is insane. Now, of course, they're going to give some of them free. I'm sure if you pull him on banner, you'll get maybe up to, let's be generous and say 300 free shards. Then you still have to pay for the other 700, which is 70,000 Visior. That is a hefty price. Again, not counting the Viz you need to pull him. And he's half rate, though I think there might be a pity. I'm not 100% sure on that. I don't know what this was, jazz hands. So again, just the fact that an MR compares to that insane cost at all is crazy to me. And again, it's only a comparison stat-wise. Kit-wise, the abilities that they have, UR Mont wins out in every category, though that shield that Nasha has is really good. But I'm going to go back to crying. Maybe get some therapy. I'm clearly not doing well in the head. I will see you next time when I have an emotional breakdown about Gilgamesh's EX. So look forward to that. Subscribe if you want to see me have more emotional breakdowns.